Your news today, October 11th at naturalnews.com. Breaking. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. throws down the gauntlet on rigged DNC, promises to look at other options if Democrat Party bosses won't allow a fair and free election. In a live town hall event that took place Sunday, September 17th, 2023, hosted by Stand for Health, Freedom, U.S. presidential candidate Robert F. Kennedy Jr. announced he was ready to look at other options after the rigged Democrat Party has excluded him by exclusively endorsing Joe Biden and rigging the Democrat nomination process. Global medicine is the path to totalitarianism, so we have to get rid of it. Learn more about RFK's run for U.S. president at Kennedy24.com.
He's been under fire for a long time, but he stands tall for the sacred cause. Our guest, Mr. Mike Lindell, CEO of MyPillow, election integrity expert and advocate, and more. Welcome to the Sheriff Mack Show, Mr. Lindell.
You only have two kinds of media really out there, but our voices are growing up, and you have the left that attacks and puts out these fake news and everything, but we're able to get the word out through that, okay? Then you have the Foxes of the world that don't talk at all. It does more damage, I believe, than all the fake news combined. And when I say that is, things that are out there, the good things that are going on, the progress we're all making, Fox isn't going to report that, and neither is Newsmax. With lawfare going on in this country, everyone's afraid even to talk about elections or election crime or election, anything to do with the elections. And it's disgusting. They will pile on, as you all know, when the left will pile on on anything that they think is will do damage to whoever it is. You better not talk about elections, or you can end up like MyPillow and Mike Lindell. Well, in the meantime, they're putting the word out that we're still fighting. If you go back, everybody, to remember, I was sued, and MyPillow was sued because their CEO exercised his First Amendment right of free speech, and plus had all the evidence given to him in January of 21. But they sued MyPillow, and they sued them saying that was a grand marketing CEO to make money. And in the first month alone in January of 21, we lost $100 million in retails and box sales. We just plummeted. Well, Smartmatic sues us then a year later and says they're still, the guy won't shut up. He's still out there talking about our companies this nobody heard of before these elections.
Interview on Brighteon.com. I'm Mike Adams, the founder of Brighteon, and the border situation is exploding. And the Biden administration is reacting now in ways that are absolutely shocking, because you've got Democrats sounding a lot like Donald Trump all of a sudden on the border. And joining me to talk about this and so much more is Colonel Pete Chambers. Welcome, Colonel. It's an honor to have you on today. I'm a great fan of your work. Give us a kind of a summary of where things stand right now.
Right. So this has been an amazing process of me getting out last year off of Operation Lone Star on the border with the Texas National Guard, and then kind of getting into a think tank, helping out in Central Texas here with multiple lines of effort on the medical freedom front. I used to be a medical doctor. Well, I still am, but I used to be a flight surgeon in the Green Berets. And, we had that whole debacle with the injections. But really, my focus now has been the border and creating what we call the Remnant A-Team, which is a bunch of guys like me that are out, that are retired, who care about America, we the people, local action, global impact. That's what we're doing. And it's been a fascinating ride. And
what is the status of the border situation? I mean, we just saw Alejandro Mayorkas suddenly talking about how suddenly they're in a panic to build a wall, right? And Biden as well, waiving all these federal laws apparently to suddenly try to build a wall. But it's just going to be a little showpiece section of wall, right?
Correct. And this is the optics versus reality that I talk about all the time. I talk about this. I talk about it when I was on the border with the governor's office when we would brief them on things, or since I've been out, I do it openly. I don't badmouth anybody. I just tell, look, there's an optics and reality, and the optics of things looks really good for elections. It looks great for the news, but bottom line up front is, the Biden administration created this border crisis, and there's no consequences for the cartels and human traffickers, but there's deadly consequences for American citizens.
It's Maria Z. I'm here at the Brighteon studios, and I want to say I am so excited to become part of this network. You'll be seeing my show very, very soon. Free speech is so important in these days and becoming uncensorable, and this is the platform for it. I'll be seeing you soon.
Look at what's happening right now in New York City. You've got people chanting and praising a terrorist organization, Hamas, and supporting Palestine for slaughtering innocent men. 40 babies' heads decapitated were found in one village alone. This is barbaric. These are animals, and it's coming to our shores, and America better wake up. What say you, Ann?
Well, Joe Biden has funded it, and they're celebrating, and Hezbollah and Hamas are celebrating for the money coming from Iran to go ahead and move forward, and they are joining forces. And the rumors out there that the Russians were involved to basically disable the Iron Dome system, I think is absolute bunk. It looks to me like our governments have collaborated. Look, when Trump was in office, he supplied a lot of ammunitions to the Israelis for this day, should they ever need it. What did Joe Biden do? He gave it all to Ukraine. And then, of course, you have such a delayed response by the IDF in Israel. It makes that to me, the common person, is extremely troubling, because that tells me that they either aren't as trained as we think they are, or they were allowing this to go down because there's another motivation. Well, the motivation in Ukraine was to drag us into a war and to get NATO engaged. That fizzled because it became so obvious what was going on. So they needed something else. And look at how much mainstream media and how much social media is just showing one horrific scene after another, after another, after another. Christy, I don't want to post that all day long. For one, it's just horrific. But two, I'm not trying to gin up this civil unrest here in our country. I'm very focused on America. You talk about tunnels, I'll tell you about tunnels. I'll tell you about the fact that Fallon Naval Air Station has been sending weapons of, night vision goggles, surface-to-air missiles, rocket launchers, rocket-propelled grenades, down across our border, staging them in Gilbert, Arizona, to be picked up and driven right through a Customs and Border Patrol checkpoint, meeting up with a man of Middle Eastern descent and a U.S. government official in Caborca, Mexico, taking that truck, that trailer, and putting it onto rail headed east. So yeah, you know what? It would make sense that it would be easy for it to be sent down to in Bolivia. And now you've got U.S. gear that they're using.
First, let's look at Joe Biden saying America stands with Israel in this war.
Today, the people of Israel are under attack, orchestrated by a terrorist organization, Hamas. In this moment of tragedy, I want to say to them and to the world and to terrorists everywhere, the United States stands with Israel.
The attack on Israel at the moment has left about 200 people dead, and it's led by Hamas. And Hamas is a Palestinian Sunni Islamic fundamentalist militant and nationalist organization. They were founded in 1987. In the political sphere, they've won over the population in Palestine on many occasions, and throughout the years, they've constantly been at war and attack with Israel. Several times they've engaged in war. Again, this is massively prophetic in many ways. I've said it a lot, and it's completely true. When you study Bible prophecy, you see that it really surrounds Israel and Jerusalem in the end times. That's absolutely the center of Bible prophecy. And so when we see this happening, it's very prophetic in many ways. And wars and rumors of wars is very incredibly important and mentioned many times. We'll look at that now, and then we'll look at the potential of this setting up Gog and Magog, another end times war prophecy, as well as the Battle of Armageddon in Israel. In Matthew 24 and 25, Mark 13, and Luke 21, Jesus tells us and prophesies about the end times, the Great Tribulation, and the times leading up unto that point. And in Luke 21, it lays out a perfect timeline of what's happening right now in Israel and what will be happening in the end times in Israel. And I'll read a passage of that now. Again, this is from Luke 21, verses 20 through 24. Then I'll play a clip of Benjamin Netanyahu just absolutely verifying this is exactly what is starting to go down, or at least a glimpse of what will be coming in the future. But when you see Jerusalem surrounded by armies, then know that its desolation is near. Then let those who are in Judea flee to the mountains. Let those who are in the midst of her depart. And let not those who are in the country enter her. For these are the days of vengeance, that all things which are written may be fulfilled. But woe to those who are pregnant and to those who are nursing babies in those days, for there will be great distress in the land and wrath upon this people. And they will fall by the edge of the sword, and be led away captive into all nations, and Jerusalem will be trampled by the Gentiles, until the times of the Gentiles are fulfilled.
Join us on October 25th, a Wednesday, at Brighteon.tv for the telethon event, which will be packed with interesting guests, hosts, shows, announcements, auctions, gifts, and so much more. So thank you for listening. Hope to see you there. October 25th, Brighteon.tv. Take care.